So the patterned fabric is the main piece and the plain fabric is the lining. So I'm going to make a curve at the bottom because it's a curvy bottom bag. It's like a semicircle at the bottom. So I'm going to now stitch the lining. I'll leave a gap of about maybe 3 inches on one side to flip it over when I'm finished. This is a pocket. So I'm finding the center of the lining here. This is one side of the lining. So I'm finding the center so I can attach the pocket in the right place. Making a mark. I'm finding the center of the pocket as well. Now the top part I'm going to turn down by 1/4 of an inch. I'm turning down again by 1 inch. I'm turning the edges in by 1/4 of an inch. I'll stitch the top and then I'll attach it to the lining. It's about 1 inch from the bottom. This is what it should look like. That's the gap there. I have to turn it over afterwards. I'm putting that away. Now this is the main piece. I'll be stitching the main piece, but before I stitch the main piece, I'm going to be making some lines across. Watch carefully now what I'm doing. So I'm measuring down 2 inches from the edge and I'm marking that. I'll draw a line across. This line, I'll be stitching on this line later on. Now I measure again 1 inch from that line and I'm going to make a mark again. And I'll also be stitching on this line. So there'll be a gap between, and that gap now is for the casing for the string. So I'm creating a kind of tunnel where the string should go through. So I'll stitch from the top to the first line and I'll just jump over to the other bottom line, and I'll stitch, and I'll carry on all the way around. I'll do the same on the other side. So it's stitched now. As you can see, there's a gap there for the string on both sides. I'm putting some cuts along the curvy part of the bag. This is to enable me to turn it over freely, and also to reduce any bulkiness. So I'm going to finger press this side seam. And when I do that, I'm going to be stitching around the little opening. So it's like a little box I'm going to be making around the opening to secure it. You can see it, there's a little box made around it. Now I'll be attaching the handles. So I'm finding the center now of the bag. I'm making a mark there. Then on each side of the mark here, I'm going to be measuring 3 inches. This is this handle. I'm going to fold it in the middle, and I'm going to fold the edges towards the middle, and I'm going to stitch on both sides all the way down, all the way on that side. So now the handles are stitched, so I'm going to be pinning it onto the bag now before I stitch. So from the center that I've marked, I am now going to measure 3 inches. And I'll be attaching the handle and where I've marked. So stitch along there, secure the handles. So I'm turning the lining on the wrong side, and I'm placing the main inside. I'll be attaching them now. So seam to seam, side seam to side seam. So I'll be stitching around it by about 1/4 of an inch. Now it's done. So I'm now going to flip the bag over on the right side. This is a gap that we had left, so I'm going to be using to flip it over. I'm just going to press this seam flat. So I'm going to stitch now at the edge there by about 1/8 of an inch, stitching allowance. Then I'm going to stitch now on the line that I had made previously. So I'm stitching above the gap, a little opening that we've left. I'm going to stitch above it and I'm going to stitch below it, and that will create the casing for the string. So this is what it looks like after I've stitched it. I'm going to close off this gap, just run a stitch across this opening here to close it off. You can use your hand, your needle and thread, or you can use the machine. So now I'll be running the string through. So you're running it straight through and come straight back around to where you start. you're going to do the same thing on the where the other opening is. You start from the other opening now, and you're going to run it straight through and come straight back around to your starting point. There you go. So I've done that, and this is what the bag looks like when it's completed. Thanks for watching, guys.